Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, and thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling, and it's February 24th, and the number 24 is our number for the day because there are just 24 days until the first day of spring. It won't be long now, you guys. All right, today we celebrate the birthday of a man who appreciated the simplicity of life and knew that we would too. We also learn about the Indiana state flower. It's not a native, but it sure is beautiful. We'll hear some words from a 1997 garden chore list. And we grow that garden library today with a beautiful book that takes us on a tour of more than 70 English gardens and then shares the elements that make the English garden style so beloved. And then we'll wrap things up with an old article that asked Virginians to plant more of their state flower, the dogwood. And we'll review some little-known dogwood facts that I think will make you think about this genus a little differently. But first, here's a quick reminder to head on over to the website for the show. It's thedailygardener.org. And once you're there, you can sign up for the free Friday newsletter. This is like getting a little newsletter from a garden friend, and I give you a little botanical history and literature to tide you over the weekend, as well as some pictures from my own home and garden. And don't forget, if you'd like to share your garden with me, all you need to do is send it via email to me at jennifer@thedailygardener.org. That's Jennifer at thedailygardener.org. And my little tip for regular listeners of the show is to add me as a contact in your phone. And then that way, this summer, when you're looking at something in your garden or you're taking pictures and you think, oh, I want to send this to the Daily Gardener, it's very easy to do because I'll be right there as a contact in your phone. So again, my email is jennifer@thedailygardener.org. And I have to say that I absolutely love seeing your pictures of your garden. Here's today's curated news. Today's curated news comes from a man named Brian Nelson. He wrote a post for Tree Hugger, and it was called World's Largest Honeybee Makes Rare Hallucinogenic Honey. Now, I had never heard of this before. Now, apparently, these bees are known as Himalayan giant honeybees, and the honey that they make is regarded as the world's most cherished honey. It's called mad honey, and it can reportedly fetch a price for between $60 and $80 a pound. And you can learn all about these huge honeybees by checking out this post. There's even a wonderful video of a man trying to find one of their beehives. It's absolutely fascinating. So if you'd like to check out this post for yourself, all you need to do is head on over to the Facebook group for the show and search for the word honey, and this post will pop right up. Now, if you're not in the Facebook group for the show, please don't worry. It's so easy to join. All you need to do is the next time you're on Facebook, just go up to where you'd search for a friend and type in Daily Gardener Community. And then when the group pops up, just request to join. I'd love to meet you in the group. Here's today's botanical history for February 24th. Today is the birthday of the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, who was born on this day, February 24th, in 1955. A lover of simplicity and elegance, Steve once said that, quote, "The most sublime thing I've ever seen are the gardens around Kyoto." To Steve, the ultimate Kyoto garden was the Saihoji, and most people would agree with him. The dreamlike Saihoji garden was created by a Zen priest, poet, calligrapher, and gardener named Muso Soseki in the 14th century, a period remembered as the Kamakura period. And the Saihoji Temple is affectionately called the Kokodera, or the Moss Temple, a reference to the over 120 moss species that are found in the garden. Steve Jobs wasn't the only celebrity to find Zen at Saihoji. David Bowie was also a huge fan. And when it comes to design, there's a Steve Jobs quote that garden designers should pay attention to, and it goes like this. Design is a funny word. Some people think design means how it looks. But if you dig deeper, it's really how it works. And here's a fun little fact for gardeners. When Steve needed his garden designed at his Tudor-style home on Waverly Street in Palo Alto, he selected the great English garden designer Penelope Hobhouse to install a traditional English cottage garden, a garden that she could have, no doubt, designed in her sleep. Nonplussed by the request, Penelope's son implored her to make room for the job. And when Penelope first met Steve, he made a unique first impression by rolling into the restaurant where they'd agreed to meet on rollerblades. Although Penelope designed Steve's garden, she never actually saw it. Yet she did write about the project in an article for Hortus. It was called Malus Californica, or A New Garden for Mr. J. And it was on this day, February 24th, in 2001, that the Daily Journal out of Franklin, Indiana, shared an article called Selection of State Flower Deserves Much Thought by Bayou Bill Cyphers. The article discusses the desire to change the state flower of Indiana. Bill wrote, "Well, we are at it again. Again, we are embroiled in the state flower hassle, and rank and file legislators are telling us they have more important things to do than uproot the peony as the state flower. Changing the state flower from the peony to fire pink would be as simple as adopting either Senate Bill 57 or House Bill 2053, or both, to get the matter to the desk of the governor. But wait a minute, is it really that simple? That cut and dried? Is it really what we want? Is the fire pink Hoosierland's best flora representative? Not native. That's the big rub proponents of the fire pink have with the peony. Foreigner. And they are right. Let's face it, we are all foreigners. Is it worse for a wildflower to have come from someplace else than it is for men? The thing that most concerns me is the state flower hassle revolves around the importance of nativeness. The real criteria should be the P&Ps of the issue, pulchritude and proximity. And in case you're wondering, pulchritude means beauty. Certainly, our state flower should be a raging beauty, but even more important, it should be accessible, very common, and be seen by many people, including non-Hoosiers who are just visiting. Fire pink is certainly beautiful, but not so beautiful as the cardinal flower, also a native of the state. And neither fire pink nor the cardinal flower are even remotely as common as are several of the other candidates, especially the native spring beauty. Other Indiana Academy of Science candidates were white nodding trillium, blue fox, bluebell, butterfly milkweed, bloodroot, a spectacularly beautiful flower, but not widely seen, aster, wood poppy, shooting star, wood columbine, and yellow trout lily. Well, I loved Bill's article, and I have to say that even though this was written back in 2001, 20 years ago, it's very clear that the effort to knock off the peony as the state flower was unsuccessful, because today the peony remains the state flower of Indiana. And I'm glad that it does, because it is the only state in the United States that can claim the peony for their floral emblem. And there are many fun facts about this beautiful plant, the peony. It's very beloved by people. In addition to being the Indiana state flower, peonies are the flower for China, where the peony is called the shoyu, which translates to most beautiful. And when Marco Polo first spied the peony, he wrote that the large blooms looked like roses as big as cabbages. As a symbol of wealth and a happy marriage, it's fitting that the peony is the 12th wedding anniversary flower. And it's also worth noting that a single peony plant could provide a century's worth of flowers. Impressively, peonies can live to be 100 years old. And if you receive a bouquet of peonies, make sure to keep the vase filled with fresh water. Peonies make for thirsty cut flowers. As for peony plants, make sure to plant them high and have plenty of patience, because peonies can be slow to get going. And if you've ever wondered why Grandma had you plant your banana peels under the peony bushes, it's because peonies love potassium. Potassium helps peonies stay healthy and develop stronger stems. And in that regard, they're just like roses. And if you want to help your peony store up more energy for the following year, you can cut off the seed pods after your peony is finished flowering. Now, medicinally, peonies were thought to help with pain, and they were used to treat everything from headaches to childbirth. And the childbirth connection to the peony has its roots in Greek mythology. Here's the story. Asclepius was the god of healing and medicine, and he had a student named Paeon who discovered a root that could alleviate labor pain. This discovery brought Paeon notoriety, and Asclepius could not hide his jealousy of this, and he grew vengeful. Sensing trouble, Zeus stepped in, and he turned Paeon into a flower, the peony, and thereby saved his life. And to this day, Paeon, through the peony, helps ease the pain of childbirth. In Unearthed Words, today's words come from the 1997 Gardener's Almanac. Here was their little list of February chores. Visit a greenhouse in a nearby botanic garden for an early spring. Go to your local bookstore to see the new spring gardening books. Survey your tools, prepare them for the new season, and replace any that no longer do their job. And while your plants are still dormant, prune summer blooming shrubs, fruit trees, grapevines, and berry bushes. Sweet little list. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, English Gardens by Catherine Bradley Hole. This book came out in 2019, and the subtitle is From the Archives of Country Life magazine. In this instant classic, Catherine shares her masterpiece that revels in the glories of English gardening. The publisher said this of Catherine's book: an unprecedented, in-depth look at the English garden by one of Britain's foremost garden writers and authorities. Catherine Bradley Hole, the longtime garden columnist for Country Life, takes a fresh look at more than 70 gardens from across England and distills the essence of what makes the English garden style so sought after. Seasonal photographs capture the gardens, some grand, some personal, some celebrated, some rarely photographed, at their finest moments, accompanied by sparkling, insightful text. Featuring photographs from the unparalleled archives of country life, the full story of the English garden is here, from medieval monastery gardens to the Victorians and the arts and crafts movement to the 21st century. And the Wall Street Journal review of this book said, "At a time when the very idea of travel is inconceivable, what a gift to be taken on an armchair tour of the great English gardens." This book is 492 pages of the over 70 spectacular English gardens by one of the very best garden writers on the planet. You can get a copy of English Gardens by Catherine Bradley Hole and support the show using the Amazon link in today's show notes for around $44. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day, February 24th, in 1957, that the Times-Dispatch out of Richmond, Virginia, ran a piece by Pat Perkinson that called on all gardeners to plant the dogwood Cornus florida during the Virginia State Flower Anniversary. Here's what it said. Aside from their significance as the state flower of Virginia, dogwood trees are symbolically remindful of the colonists who first found them growing so prolifically here in the 17th century. Not only did they enjoy the bushy trees, but they also put the bark to medicinal use, combating the effects of malaria. To get an idea of the conditions preferred by dogwood, we only have to observe the situations in which they grow in nature. As you drive along the highways, you will notice that dogwood flourish in the shade of the taller trees in the forest. Perhaps you'd like to situate young trees a short distance from the house, where they'll be partially shaded and where they may be enjoyed from the windows. And here are some fun dogwood facts. In addition to being Virginia's state flower, the dogwood is the state tree of Virginia, Missouri, and North Carolina. Native Americans used the dogwood as a phenological guide, and they planted their corn crop when the dogwood bloomed. Both the roots and the bark of the dogwood tree have been used to treat malaria. That is true. And in floriography, or the language of flowers, dogwood flowers are a symbol of rebirth. Dogwood trees and shrubs are in the Cornus genus, and Cornus comes from the Latin cornu, for horn, which references the dogwood being a hardwood tree. And if you can't remember that, just think of cornucopia. It's that horn-shaped basket. And there you go, your horn. Many old botanical reference guides say that the dogwood tree used to be called the dagwood, as in dagger. Again, another reference to hardwood. Dogwood trees actually have a hard white wood that used to be harvested to make skewers for cooking. So again, this is another neat tie back to the dag or the dagger reference. And this is also how the dogwood got one of its ancient common names, the skewer wood. Another ancient reference has to do with the dogwood's fruit, which used to be called dogberries. And as one might suspect, a dogberry was not all that good, and the name implied that the berry wasn't even fit for a dog. Today we know that dogwood berries can irritate a dog's tummy. In addition, handling dogwood or touching the bark can be a skin irritant. So wear gloves when you prune dogwood. And this finally brings me to my last point on dogwood. As with so many flowering trees and shrubs, when it comes to the dogwood, prune time follows bloom time. Every June, after your dogwood tree or shrub has finished blooming, you can prune it back to encourage it to set more flower buds. Never prune your dogwood after winter ends or before your dogwood has bloomed, because then you're just removing the bracts or the flowers before they can bloom in the spring. So with dogwoods, just remember, prune time follows bloom time. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. Hey, thanks for spending part of your day with The Daily Gardener. If you want to read even more botanical brevities, just head on over to thedailygardener.org. That's where you can find all the stories, biographies, and books that I share on the show. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for my free Friday newsletter. It has lots of goodies in it, and I try to make the newsletter like you're getting a marvelous letter from a garden friend. You can always find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media. You can follow the show on Twitter, and you have a standing invitation to join the free Facebook group for listeners of the show. Just search for Daily Gardener Community the next time you're on Facebook and request to join. Last but not least, you can easily share your gardener greetings or book submissions by emailing me at jennifer@thedailygardener.org. The Daily Gardener is produced in lovely Maple Grove in Wyoming, Minnesota, with the help of Paige Mance, Brooke Bierbaum, and Eric Begay. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling, and as always, have a great day in the garden, and we'll see you tomorrow.